Now there are at least two major things that we have to talk. That why he is considered as founding father, although I have discussed a bit of that. Why he is considered as founding father means why he became the founding father of public administration. Why the essay becomes the beginning point for a separate discipline. Why not the developments before Wilson? So this is first. And second, what exactly, let's say that Wilson was emphasizing in his essay. So what exactly he was emphasizing in his essay? So that we'll also have to talk. The first thing we'll talk is that why his essay, right, published in 1887 becomes basis for beginning of public administration as a discipline, and second, right, why his essay is considered most seminal or important. So why essay is considered beginning, I guess now you understand. Anyone? Why we consider the essay as beginning of a separate discipline?
Essay, he first explicitly mentioned about the need of the public administration and how the public administration, the separate as a discipline, it should be made like on the basis of scientific methods and studies.
Yes. Any other?
First one to propound the idea of a separate public administration as a separate discipline, and it should be treated as a special separate discipline independent of politics. He was the first one to clearly delineate the running of the politics in the administration.
Yes. So
He said that the content of Wilson was not that rich, but the impact that it created was much more than the previous scholars. Like it started the initiative, like started the interest or initiative among the scholars to take a serious look at the study of administration as a separate discipline.
yes, right. Although criticism part we have avoided, so that part should not be.
It was Wilson who clearly argued for the public administration as a separate discipline for bringing the efficiency in the administration.
Yes.
That is why.
Yes. This you should remember and you should carry forward when question you face. So this is how the most important point to write. So since I have mentioned, but let me tell that we'll explain one by one. So there were, let's say that thinkers before Wilson. So there were thinkers before Wilson who contributed to public administration. So if you start, let's say Kautilya or Shastra, then Aristotle, the politics, right? The prince, right? So they are the ancient, let's say that. Basically they are linked with ancient time. Then if you take 17th, 18th century, Europe. That time it was known as Prussia. So, means Austria and Germany, this is how we say that. So, there we had thinkers like this. So, George Zinke, this is how we say that. Then, Lawrence von Stein, right, and a school known as Cameralists. There was another scholar right, Bluntschli, Bluntschli. So basically they already had established, so they advocated for science of administration. So they advocated for science of administration, right, public administration, right, as a separate field. In fact, he has the credit also to talk of dichotomy before Wilson. So, you should know that these things you should know. When we say, so these are European thinkers, why you should know them? So that you have the information and the knowledge, so that you should not write that Wilson was first to talk about dichotomy. No, Wilson was not first to talk about dichotomy. Rather, it was Bluntschli who first talked about dichotomy. So this you should not, it is not a question of who is talking first. Certainly it is not a matter of who is talking first about dichotomy. Who is talking first of science of administration? No, that is not that made Wilson founder. Rather, Wilson was first to clearly articulate the need for a separate discipline, and so effectively. So this is how, let's say that they had already talked about science of administration. They were already talking that we should have a separate discipline, and he was first to talk before Wilson. He was first to talk before Wilson of dichotomy, but this is how we say, but it was certainly still they lacked clear articulation. So that is Europe, let's say that. Then if you take US, so in US itself, I told yesterday two names. One is called Alexander Hamilton, and second is Thomas Jefferson. Right. So they became president in US before Wilson, and they had already also contributed to the public administration, and that is how, let's say, the Thomas Jefferson. So Thomas Jefferson had credit for talking about a strong bureaucracy and Jeffersonian papers, you may be aware. Alexander Hamilton is the thinker or the administrator who talks about public administration, especially the term public administration, and it's defining the scope what it should do. So this is how we can say that they are the thinkers before Wilson. So there were thinkers before Wilson and work before Wilson, but why, let's say that Wilson is considered still, Wilson is considered founding father, or essay is considered beginning. first, right, Wilson was first to clearly articulate the need for or a separate discipline second was first to clearly highlight the challenges in running constitution. Running constitution. This third, he clearly articulated. So third point we were writing, again I will write here. So this is how we'll find that. He first time clearly articulated why of the discipline, what of the discipline, and how of the discipline. Right. That why there should be a separate discipline. Right. And what of the discipline, the what discipline should do, and how it should do. Right. So why there should be a separate discipline? To achieve efficiency. Right. Achieve, that is how we say 3 each. What the discipline should do? So it should build theory, principles, best tools, techniques, and how. So how it should do? Scientific way. By following empirical methods. Is it visible? Is it clearly visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, see, somebody told, and it was good that he clearly articulated. So this is how we told yesterday also, today also. It is in a way to tell in a some organized way that so he has not only contributed what we were talking about, he is also a person who says very clearly that why we should have a discipline. It should achieve the three objectives. What it should do. So the discipline should go on building theory, methods and principles, etc. and how it should do. So that is how for the first time any thinker was talking that which methods it should follow and how it should build the theory and principle, and he wanted that it should follow scientific methods. And now we have used a term for you, let's say first time, that is called empirical methods, because I have to use we cannot, let's say, that deny now. So certain point of time things should be now, technicality gradually should be introduced. Now there will be a doubt about in your mind what is empirical. Although I could have used only scientific method, but deliberately we have used empirical method, and we have written another term called positivism. So certainly I will explain it, but let's say that since he very clearly articulated these things, and that's why let's say that he becomes the founding father, and the essay becomes, because these things were highlighted in essay. So where he highlighted all these things, he highlighted the second point that we wrote, that why essay becomes the most seminal. In the essay he highlighted all these things, let's say that, and he clearly articulated them in the essay. That's why essay becomes the most seminal essay. It remains the most seminal because one more point will tell there after this, that why it is still most seminal. So in essay he highlighted, plus he very clearly articulated what, why and how, and because of that he becomes the founding father, not the thinkers before him. Thinkers before him, they have also their credit, they have also highlighted, but in ancient time there was no concern for discipline, there was no such academic, let's say, achievement that time. In medieval times, so yes, again there was no such academic, let's say, that understanding about public administration or social sciences. Then let's say that in modern times, this is how the academic, let's say, the understanding happens. Most of the social sciences have their modern root, and that is how there was academic understanding. And let's say that in that modern time, even if in Europe there was a scientific movement, but still their contribution was not as systematic as Woodrow Wilson in terms of highlighting the need for a discipline and what the discipline should do. That's why even if they have contributed, so even if those thinkers have contributed before Wilson, so like they have contributed, so even if they have contributed before Wilson, but still we do not consider them as founding father, and it is not a discredit to them. So a question was asked, will it be a discredit to them? Will it be considered as a lack of recognition to their work, the thinkers before Wilson? So it is not lack of recognition, rather that they were not as systematic in academic term, and because of that, let's say that we consider Wilson as founding father, not other thinkers or thinkers before him. So this then further, let's take essay. When we talk why it is most seminal, so those points can be written. One more point can be written on about essay, why it is most seminal. So because Wilson talks very clearly in essay about need for a discipline, and what discipline should do, how it should do, and why of the discipline. Apart from that, do you have any other thing that we can say that why essay is very seminal? And a question was asked, the essay of Wilson is still the most seminal in public administration. So when we say in today's context, so from why we can say that still it is a most seminal essay? Anyone on this?
So because he clearly laid out as to who should be making laws, what kind of laws should be made, and how the laws should be administered, which is quite relevant in the present time as well.
the growth of subject has been very high in the period following his essay.
Yes. Yes, that is also a relevant point. Any other?
Sir, if anyone,
Yes, yes.
he studies the study of administration, then he will get some academic clarity so that he can progress further.
Talking, but your voice is not clear because of connectivity, I guess.
Sir, all his contributions are clearly stated for the progress of subject as a
No,
discipline.
we have to talk in present context, basically. We have to talk in the present context.
In the present context, like COVID-19, right now, it is the most hard time when we need the efficiency in the bureaucracy, the public administration. That can be.
What he said at that time, the essay, the concerns, the objective of the public administration are still relevant because we are striving for those concerns at this time also.
See, question means syllabus topic is vision of Wilson. Vision is always, as we have told, also futuristic. A person can see vision for 100 years, even 200 years. Even Max Weber has been considered in COVID crisis very relevant. So if you talk to any such if you have linked with any person who is IAS in the fields, he will say that I find Max Weber now more relevant. In fact, some people have changed their favorite thinker from Taylor to Max Weber. So that's a very different thing. Since you are very still new to this field, so let me say that Wilson was certainly trying to establish a separate discipline, and he has a concern for efficiency. But his main underlying philosophy was that we need to reform administration. We will have to reform administration. Administration cannot, let's say, remain static, and administration cannot, let's say, achieve efficiency by maintaining status quo. It has to be changed, it has to be reformed, and it has to be continuously reformed. So this is how he is trying to say that achieve efficiency, administration must run state efficiently. Now you remember that day before yesterday we told that society had become complex. The administration has to match with the complexity of society. It will have to enhance, it will have to change. So administration yesterday can be very efficient. Right. So administration yesterday can be very efficient, but that is not the point. Administration today should also be efficient. So this is how the concern that there should be a continuous basis of reform to keep administration efficient, and that is what he is highlighting. He is in essay, and that is underlying, means it is implicit, it is not explicit in his message. It is something implicit in his message that you have to reform your administration, you have to keep your administration efficient, and hence let's say that this is how the relevance of the essay, because today even it is more challenging to run constitution than in 1887 when Wilson was writing. Can we say? Can we say today it is more challenging to run constitution?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So few days back, one candidate asked a question that what positive can we say that Indian bureaucracy is efficient, or why Indian bureaucracy is not efficient. So why, what you will reform? Suppose you are appearing in interview, you are asked that Indian bureaucracy is criticized that it is not efficient. Do you agree with this view? What you will say?
Yes, sir. We need to move the red tapeism and corruption in the field of administration. Because I myself see in my home when my father or my chacha go for any contract, they first have to give the bribe, then the payment will pass to other tables. So it's so administration, the corruption and red tapeism. So we need to reform first. That expect then only the bureaucracy or the administration will become efficient.
Yes, good that you are talking what the truth is, but in interview, let's say you have to moderate it. Right.
At the two faces of the coin, it has the both. We
Yes.
can't say that it is that.
Yes, accepted.
Is Indian.
Right.
Yes, we can peoples which we can say in a system can be inefficient, but not the whole system could be inefficient. There
Yes,
can
accepted.
be very good examples from the recent also.
Yes.
COVID-19, or we can take an example.
Your time is up. Accepted. Let give other people also.
Technology.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Sir, today we need more emphasis on new technologies in administration.
Yes, accepted. Let's tell that the purpose of asking was no doubt see your thinking level as well, and see when we say that whether Indian bureaucracy is inefficient, so yes, there are many issues as highlighted by one student. The question is that my purpose of asking the question was not this. My purpose is to tell you, even if you presume that administration is efficient today, but due to changes in society, let's presume that administration is efficient. So due to changes in society, one thing we say technological advancement, second we say knowledge advancement, third we say that due to emergence of new issues, let's say COVID is a new issue, new challenge. So before that we have ecology and environment, global warming, climate change, new issue, and let's say that in Delhi there was ecological emergency, you should know that, air quality, etc. So society is continuously changing. In that change, let's say that emergence of new issues, challenges, knowledge advancement, technological advancement. Therefore, even if you presume that administration is today efficient, tomorrow unless it changes, it will not be efficient. Okay. And that is how you have to answer in interview, rather than giving such let's say that here and there things. You have to tell in this way, even if bureaucracy has efficiency, but it will have to reform itself, and the pace of reform has not happened the way it should be, and because of that there is inefficiency. Okay. Because pace of reform is always slow with the pace of change in society. So this is called administrative lag. So we have to talk a bit more academic way, that is a more general way. So gradually you will learn these things, the rules of the game, how to think academically. So what we are trying to say is that there is administrative lag. The pace at which society changes is very fast. Right. And let's say that now we have started conducting class online, this everything is happening, school children are getting online education, but UPSC cannot conduct interview through Zoom and let's say live interaction. So there are no doubt security issue, but UPSC could have conducted the interview this way also. So then it will minimize cost also, but technologically it is not yet prepared. But schools are prepared. Schools are teaching those small kids through this, let's say that these let's say that medium. So there can be certain administrative lag, but again I will not go into details of that. Hope you understand these things. The purpose of saying that why seminal essay, Wilson essay was seminal and it is still very relevant, is that it simply gives a message to any state, any country, that you have to continuously reform your administration and bring the best methods and tools and technique in administration, so that it should remain efficient. Otherwise there will be inefficiency and it will not be able to overcome the challenges of implementation. That is how the message, and that is how administrative reforms. So again we will remember Wilson when we will take the chapter administrative reform. The chapter in paper second, administrative reform, so Wilson will also be relevant there again. But this is how way to link it, and that is how about the relevance, means that is how the relevance of the essay of Wilson, and that is why we say Wilson as most important. Wilson we say as founder of public administration. Now let's take the impact. What happened, the impact of Wilson? It is very difficult to document impact because it is so far and wide. So still let's say that impact of Wilson. So basically if you take that, first is that bringing of the discipline. Beginning of the discipline, public administration. So it started with 1887. Second, thinkers like Frank Goodnow. He wrote the politics. It was a book published in 1900. Right. L.D. White. He wrote a book, an introduction. To study of public administration. First book, (1926), first book of public administration. So thinker like this Frank Goodnow, L.D. White, Willoughby, right. So there were followers basically, so they are considered as followers. So they are the followers, let's say that, and followers of Wilson, and they continued the thought. So they continued basically, so followers. So Wilson also had his followers who continued the, let's say, thoughts of Wilson, and they continued the thought of Wilson in terms of politics administration dichotomy. So Frank Goodnow wrote his first book known as The Politics, where he further advanced the concept of politics administration dichotomy of Wilson. L.D. White also further advanced, and first book of public administration he wrote, that is called An Introduction to the Study of Public Administration, published in 1926. And similarly, Willoughby was also one thinker who further propagated the idea, and his book known as Principles of Administration. So this another, let's say that key aspect. The third point that we will write, Right, classical thinkers. Propagated the ideas of Wilson in terms of first building theories and principles. Right. Second, supporting politics administration dichotomy, and third, making public administration science. So public administration, let's say, making public administration science, supporting politics administration dichotomy, and building theories and principles. So this we can consider. Next, objectives. 3 is has been followed by all. Approaches, including good governance and NPM. This NPM, business-like approach. And its theme as 3. This then Dwight Waldo. So Dwight Waldo considers politics administration dichotomy as DNA of public administration. So this is how it is that the impact. So this is way to relate basically, or it can be also impact. You can say also as relevance. So whether you say impact or relevance, anyhow. So Wilson had a very profound impact, and there is a link still in public administration throughout the evolution of public administration. And these are the some major points. Even NPM had business-like approach, and its theme is 3E: efficiency, economy, and effectiveness. Dwight Waldo considers the politics administration dichotomy as DNA of public administration. DNA means it is the dichotomy concept which has shaped the evolution of public administration, as most of the theories and principles in public administration have focused on implementation side. So they have focused on implementation side of administration rather than on policy making side of the government. So whatever the theories etc. we have got, so there is a focus of that aspect. And if I talk further, let's say that, so this is how let's concerns for efficiency. So PA as a discipline, so when it start in 1887, so let's say that we told organization, if you remember, so we told that public administration is like organization, or public administration is treated as an organization. Wilson is also treating that as an organization. It should improve its efficiency, and the discipline should enhance the efficiency by building theories and principles. So this is how the organization, and the link you can say, so organization theories. So there is evolution of organization theories in public administration, and those organization theory can be classified largely as classical approach, Great. Then we can say as human relation, behavioral approach, and third we say as systems approach. Right. So basically they have their root in 1900 to 1940s. They have root their 1930s, 1960s, and this is how we can say 1960s. It is just for understanding. We are trying to enhance the understanding. Let's say that since these are the beginning classes, so we have to try to enhance also your understanding. Not necessarily that you should write all these things in examination when you have to write impact of Wilson, because then it will be a very long answer, so you have to minimize. But since we are saying that when Wilson is saying it is a discipline, the discipline when he says, so what is the impact? The impact is that this is how it is the beginning. The organization theories, so there is evolution of organization theory and a separate field emerges. So organization theory, and already they have gone like this, this and all have concern of 3 E's. All are trying to do nothing but achieve efficiency, economy, effectiveness, right? So this is how you should know. This is how the impact of Wilson in general we can say, and you can imagine how big thinker Wilson is or Wilson was, both way. And this is how we can say as impact on the subject. So if we have today public administration as a subject, so the credit goes to Wilson. This is the nutshell. This is the final concluding line. If we have today discipline of public administration, whatever the discipline status we have, so it is the credit goes to Wilson. So we finish Wilson positive side. So I guess things are clear.
Yes.
Right.
Last part again, the concerns for efficiency.
Like last point, in the sense, please clarify your question.
So the concern for efficiency that you explained.
Concern for efficiency.
So basic aim is to reach the 3 E's, right?
Yes.
So basically, as a discipline, when we talk and we relate it to organization, the major concern is to reach to the 3 E's.
Yes.
Right. That is what I was thinking. I just missed a point.
Yes. Let me tell. I got your point where the doubt is happening. Basically, when we talk, speak, we do not again and again speak 3 E's: efficiency, economy, effectiveness. Right. Rather, we take one: efficiency. So, how to run a state? To run a state efficiently. It is presumed that you talk also effectiveness, also economy, also. Basically, every time 3 terms are not used to keep things simple. Right. Efficiency, economy, effectiveness, they have differences. But in broad sense, efficiency will connote other 2 also. Right. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir. Got it.
So in general, when we keep speaking to run state efficiently, in general we are saying that in generic sense efficiency also is connoting to effectiveness and economy. Every time you don't have to talk efficiency, economy, effectiveness, but in a specific sense they do have differences. This is what it is. So again, when we will speak in detail one by one, I will also tell that at certain point of time there is emphasis on efficiency and less emphasis on effectiveness. At certain point of time there is more emphasis on effectiveness and less on efficiency. But here we want to give a holistic view. So we don't need to go in nitty-gritty details. But when there is a specific question comparing, suppose a question compare between new public administration and NPM, so basically new public administration will have emphasis on effectiveness and NPM has more leaning towards efficiency. But that will be a very specific situation, a specific question. Here we are talking in general sense, what is the impact, right? So that is how this way you should take the impact of public administration. So means of Wilson. So that is the positive side of Wilson. We have told. So I guess you are able to understand who Wilson is, what Wilson is talking about. Is it?
Yes, sir.
So have you read the questions related to Wilson also?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So let's go to the part of criticism side. Right. So what criticisms can be there? Can we criticize Wilson?
Like public administration dichotomy has been employed in Europe nearly a century back. One of the thinkers said this thing.
Yes.
And another one said that Wilson's article was read by almost none until 1930s. In 1930, no one read the article.
Right. Yes, but these are very quantitative things, right? They are not criticism at all, they are just to count criticism. So they are not criticism at all and you should not write them. Yes.
It neglects the social psychological aspects of the
Social psychological aspect, how you are getting the point?
social psychological aspect approach.
Politics and administration are interconnected. They cannot keep complete separation.
Yes, this is a good point.
Said that administration's role is only to policy implementation, but now they are also policy makers.
Yes.
So in that way we can criticize him.
Yes, these are criticisms. These are criticisms. So
he didn't talk about equity.
No. This is not. Let's say that this will not be taken because it is not like when he talks about liberty, American society. So it is not. He is not talking about equity, right?
He gave no emphasis regarding the humans created.
Yes. Yes, that can be a point, but again not. Yes, this is how it is. So it's the good thing about your response is that you are
Policy can
policy can
policy cannot make policy itself without the
yes.
advance of European.
Make administration a business line.
Yes. Let's come to what criticisms we can see.
So, sir, also I read somewhere that Wilson also mentioned in the letter that public administration cannot be completely separated from politics.
Yes, you are right. Yes, we will come to that point. Let's come that criticism. Let's say basically criticism that rejection of politics administration dichotomy. Concept by right Herbert Simon, Dwight Waldo, Paul Appleby, and F.M. Marx. So that is a prominent criticism. That should be the first point when you write. So basically, some thinkers clearly rejected the dichotomy concept of Wilson, and those thinkers were Herbert Simon, another important thinker; Dwight Waldo, another important thinker; Paul Appleby, another important thinker; F.M. Marx, not as important, but that is how the name of the thinkers. And gradually you should also start knowing the name of the thinker and relating also. So why they reject? Now the question is why this concept is rejected? Why rejection of the concept of dichotomy? So why we reject this concept? So see, Wilson says that politics, administration, so politics and administration, so only for policy making and only for policy implementation. Right. So it is only for policy making and it is only for policy implementation. Right. I guess you understand PM and PI, policy making, policy implementation. So he says.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, sir, in the previous section we were talking about impact of Wilson. The last point, Dwight Waldo considered public administration dichotomy as the DNA of PA, and now he is saying that he rejected the concept. So,
yes, try to understand that academicians have lots of diversity, and if one thinker has criticized, that does not mean that he is only critic. He can be also on the side of appreciation. Getting my point? So it is not necessary that if Dwight Waldo has said that it is DNA, so at the same time let's say that he will criticize, he will not criticize. I will tell you that Chester Barnard appreciated Simon. You should know that. And Chester Barnard was also a critic of Simon.
okay.
Right. So they similarly Fredericks has given his own theory and he himself criticized his theory. So we need to understand this aspect. So this way you should tell. So let's take that only this policy making and policy implementation. So we should not have, let's say that policy making and policy implementation in the sense that public administration. So what Wilson was saying that only, I emphasize when I spoke only, he says only role of politics is to make policy and role of administration is only to implement. That he was wrong, because both cannot be completely separated. Policy making cannot be completely separated from policy implementation. This you also understand, you know. I guess there will not be any doubt regarding this. So policy making cannot be completely separated from policy implementation. Similarly, the role of politics is not completely separate from role of administration. Right. Politics should not interfere, but politics should intervene. Is it? Is there a difference between interfere and intervene?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So once our Prime Minister, present Prime Minister spoke, when politics interferes with bureaucracy, it destroys democracy. and when politics intervenes, it empowers democracy. So intervention is different thing, interference is different thing. So he thought that since there was spoil system, so let's separate it completely. But that separation is not possible because administration should be intervened by the government. It is the government which is concerned of achievement of the policy objectives. I mean, if administration is not working in desired fashion, so politics has the right to advise administration that you change, you reform, and therefore that's why we cannot completely separate. So politics cannot be completely separated from administration, and policy making cannot be completely separated from policy implementation. Why? Because policy making becomes policy implementation becomes policy making. Difficult thing a bit. So think about this, how it becomes. So do you think that there can be a clear separation of policy making policy implementation? No. Let's start. Let's see that COVID-19, let's say that on 24 March we issued lockdown and lockdown was imposed and guidelines were let's say that issued. After experiences of implementation of lockdown, you know that another guideline was issued, and further after experiences another guideline was issued, and you should know that 4,000 rules have been brought in COVID situation by the government, not 1,000, 4,000. So your implementation experiences bring change in policy making, and policy making bring change in implementation. So can we separate it? We will not be able to separate it. So this is how, let's say that politics cannot be separated from administration and policy making cannot be separated from policy implementation. Think about this. I guess if you think more, so tomorrow we can further have discussion on that, how it is. And tomorrow finally we'll finish Wilson about contemporary and etc. And you may take another topic also, that is called defining public administration. But again we will tell you that since beginning classes will remain a bit slow also, because we have to explain many things and we have to be very cautious about also using the technical terms, because the most important concern in at this stage is that whether you understand what we are teaching, because we will not teach second time, but we are teaching the most difficult topics. Just imagine that the first two chapters are most difficult chapters, but we are teaching when you have just started public administration, and we will teach you when you become strong. So we will teach you less difficult chapters. So syllabus is like this. So since you have to explain, like I did not tell empirical and positivism, tomorrow I will tell somebody else and I should tell it. This is how many things also we have to explain in side by side, and many things we let's say that when we introduce, the concern is that whether you understand, like say when I say politics and administration, policy making and policy implementation, so still I know that you do not have much experiences of policy making and policy implementation and their relationships. So certainly I will have to explain a bit more on that, but I will tell you that when by the time tomorrow you come, so you have your thinking about the government role and about the administration role in policy making, like say what secretariat does, Prime Minister office, Niti Aayog. Similarly think about district administration. In district administration in our country there is Panchayati Raj institution, there is urban local body and district magistrate. Do you think that all the three roles can be completely separated? You should know that district magistrate shall have to work with, or district magistrate should work with local bodies, and local bodies are elected political representatives. So this is how, let's say that it will be very difficult to separate, and this complex aspect Wilson did not understand. But when we criticize Wilson, we do not criticize Wilson on the basis of the presumption that later on he reviewed his concept. This I will also clarify. So you should not have in your mind ki somewhere you have read like this, somewhere you have read like that. Those, let's say that ki resource or those facts have not been academically proved, but they are also, let's say that the facts, but we can say in defense later on. So when we will talk about defense of Wilson, there we can say that ki he reviewed, but when we are criticizing, so we will criticize on the basis of the original concept first he gave, and that is how the criticism, right?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, can we say that both policy implementation and policy making cannot be separated, because at the end of the day, politicians have to face people, because that's what democratic system is.
Yes,
And if people
that-
are not happy with the policy implementation, politicians will not be voted again to power.
Yes.
Because ultimately people have direct connection with the politicians.
Yes, it is interconnected, it is interwoven, we can say rather. It is so interwoven that you cannot separate.
So that can be the reason for that policy implementation is constantly intervened by the politicians or the executive bodies.
No, yes, that is one factor, but many a time it's too much of politicization, which we'll talk later on all these things. So let's finish today here. We'll take further tomorrow.
Yes.
So enjoy your life.